because without his vision, I promise you, there wouldn't be no Hall of Fame Allen Iverson standing at this podium if it wasn't for this guy. He gave me the vision, man. And, you know, you want to be fast like Isaiah, and you want to shoot like Bird, you know, rebound like Barkley, pass like Magic, be dominant like Shaq. But, man, I wanted to be like Mike.
Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist, global icon. He didn't just dominate basketball, he redefined greatness. But like any icon, Jordan's story is more than just trophies and highlight reels. Behind the Air Jordans and buzzer beaters are moments that reveal the real MJ, his competitive fire, his intense focus, and the personal choices that shaped his journey. Today we're diving into some of the lesser-known stories, the ones that show not weakness, but depth, and remind us why his legacy continues to evolve. Everyone knows MJ played to win, but his drive was something else entirely. He didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to bury you. Teammates like Steve Kerr and Will Perdue have shared stories of practices that felt like Game 7. Some say he crossed the line. Others, they say he raised the bar. Jordan once said, "Winning has a price. Leadership has a price." He wasn't trying to be liked, he was trying to build champions. And he did. What may look harsh from the outside to those inside the locker room often looked like unmatched leadership. Much has been said about Jordan's competitive streak extending off the court, particularly into high-stakes golf and card games. Yes, MJ liked to gamble, but to him, it was about competition, not addiction. He said it best, "I don't have a gambling problem, I have a competition problem." It's fair to say the media ran wild with speculation, especially during his first retirement in 1993. Some linked it to gambling, but no evidence ever proved that theory. NBA Commissioner David Stern firmly denied any suspension rumors. For Jordan, these games were just another arena to test his will, and if anything, it reveals just how hardwired he was to compete at everything. One of the most quoted and misunderstood Jordan lines is, "Republicans buy sneakers too." It came during a tense 1990 Senate race in North Carolina, when Jordan chose not to publicly endorse a candidate. Years later, he clarified it was a joke made in private, not a political statement. And while some criticized his decision to stay out of politics, others respected it. Jordan has since contributed millions to causes like racial equality and education reform. Sometimes, choosing when not to speak is as intentional as choosing when to act. And for MJ, legacy wasn't built on press conferences, it was built on impact. Let's talk about one of the smartest business moves in sports history, Air Jordan. When Nike signed MJ in 1984, nobody saw this coming. Today, that brand is worth billions, and MJ became the first billionaire athlete. Like all global brands, it hasn't been without scrutiny. Nike, over the years, has faced criticism about overseas labor conditions. But MJ's role in building a platform that's now invested in scholarships, community projects, and Black entrepreneurship is significant. It shows how a brand and a man can grow, adapt, and give back. When Jordan took the stage in 2009 to accept his Hall of Fame induction, he did what only he could. He stayed true to himself. Some called it petty, others pure Jordan. He brought up past slights, old rivals, and even the coach who cut him in high school. But here's the thing, that wasn't about revenge, it was about fuel. Jordan never forgot where he came from, and he used every doubt as motivation. The speech wasn't meant to inspire with poetry, it inspired with truth, raw, real, unfiltered. And honestly, that's what made it powerful. Michael Jordan's legacy isn't just about points, rings, or endorsements, it's about relentless excellence. It's about the price of greatness, the sacrifices, the scrutiny, and the pressure of being the best every single day. He inspired a generation of athletes to chase perfection, no matter the cost. Yes, there are stories and criticisms, but those aren't cracks in the statue. They're part of what makes the statue real. So whether you grew up watching MJ live or discovered him through The Last Dance, remember this: the reason we're still talking about him today is because he wasn't just a player. He was and is a force. By now, we know what Michael Jordan did on the court, but the bigger picture? That's where his influence becomes almost impossible to measure. Before Jordan, athletes were stars. After Jordan, they were brands. He made basketball a global phenomenon. When the 1992 Dream Team played in Barcelona, they weren't just athletes, they were rock stars. Kids in Spain, China, Nigeria, all wanted to be like Mike. That was no accident. Jordan became the blueprint for the modern athlete. From LeBron to Messi to Serena, everything from signature shoes to global endorsements to media empires, MJ did it first. He also inspired millions to work harder, dream bigger, and believe greatness was within reach. This is why fans defend him so passionately, because his impact went beyond stats. athletes. He changed the culture. When The Last Dance dropped in 2020, it did more than break streaming records. It reintroduced Jordan to a new generation, many of whom had never seen him play live. But what stood out wasn't just the winning, it was the mentality. Episode after episode, we saw the pressure he carried, the losses that haunted him, and the fuel that drove him. There's a scene where Jordan, near tears, says, "Winning has a price, and leadership has a price. You can feel it, the weight of being Michael Jordan." For younger fans, it erased any doubt. Yes, LeBron is great. Yes, Kobe was incredible, but Jordan was something else, not just because of what he did, but how he did it. The Last Dance wasn't a victory lap. It was a window into the soul of a man who demanded the most from others because he demanded the most from himself. Michael Jordan's legacy is far from one-dimensional. It's layered, intense, sometimes controversial, but always extraordinary. Before there was the Mamba mentality, there was Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant even said it himself, "What you get from me is from him." Jordan's mindset wasn't just about hard work, it was about obsession. He once said, "Why would I think about missing a shot I haven't taken yet?" Let that sink in. He trained to destroy doubt. He took things personally, not out of insecurity, but to fuel excellence. There's a story from Tim Grover, his legendary trainer. Jordan showed up to the gym the morning after dropping 50 points, not to celebrate, but to work on the shots he missed. It wasn't ego, it was standard. That mindset shaped the NBA's next 2 decades. From Kobe to Westbrook to Jimmy Butler, that laser focus, that mental edge, that's MJ's DNA. When Jordan retired for the 3rd time, many assumed he'd fade into the background. But quietly, he kept rewriting what greatness looks like after the game. He became the first former player to become the majority owner of an NBA franchise, the Charlotte Hornets. And though the team didn't win titles, the move mattered because Jordan opened doors for athletes, for black entrepreneurs, for former players with vision. He also donated millions, including a historic $100 million pledge in 2020 to organizations supporting racial equality, justice, and education. He supported underfunded schools, hurricane relief, and families in need with little fanfare. MJ may not chase headlines anymore, but he's still shaping the game and the world in ways few ever notice. That's a legacy built not just on being loud, but being lasting. To understand Michael Jordan, you have to understand the role his father played. James Jordan wasn't just a supportive dad, he was MJ's anchor. He was there when Michael hit his highest highs. He helped him stay grounded when fame skyrocketed. When his father was tragically murdered in 1993, it shattered him. Some say that loss was a major reason for his first retirement. He left basketball not because he was done, but because the person who helped him love the game was gone. Jordan went on to play baseball, the sport his father always wanted him to try. When he returned to basketball in 1995, he wore the number 45, his baseball number. It was a tribute, a symbol of grief, of healing. MJ has never been one to share much emotionally, but in rare interviews, you can hear it. His father's loss wasn't just personal, it reshaped how he saw everything. When you look at today's greats, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, even Giannis, there's a common thread. Jordan isn't just a reference point, he's a foundation. Kobe modeled his entire game after MJ, down to the footwork, the fadeaway, the post-up game. LeBron grew up idolizing Jordan and even wore number 23 in his honor. MJ didn't just influence how players played, he influenced how they thought. Confidence, swagger, control over their brand, a desire to dominate on the court and in business. Even in retirement, Jordan became a bar to reach, and to many, one that can never fully be surpassed. He redefined success in basketball, and every new generation is, in some way, chasing the standard he set. As Jordan fans know, it's not just about the numbers, it's about impact. And on that front, Jordan is still years ahead. So what do we take away from all of this? When you look at the story of Michael Jordan, really look at it, you realize it's not just a sports story. It's a story about drive, about loss, about rising again, and about the price that comes with trying to be the greatest at anything. Yes, we've talked about controversies, criticism, the complexities behind the smile and the signature shoes. But what makes Michael Jordan unforgettable isn't that he was perfect, it's that he was relentless. He didn't let failure define him. He didn't let public pressure bend him. He kept showing up again and again when it was hard, when it was personal, when the world was watching. And in doing that, he gave millions of people something to believe in. Whether you grew up watching him in the 90s, or you found him through The Last Dance, whether you wore the sneakers, copied the fadeaway in your driveway, or just admired the mindset, you felt something watching Jordan. You saw what was possible. He became the blueprint for chasing excellence in basketball, in business, and in life. And even today, long after his last shot, the echoes of what he did still shape how we measure greatness. Because here's the truth. Legends aren't remembered just for their stats. They're remembered for the way they made people feel. Michael Jordan made us believe that with enough heart, focus, and fire, we could be legendary too. So, wherever you are, chasing a goal, rebuilding after a setback, or just figuring out your next move, take a page from MJ's playbook. Set the bar, raise it, then go higher. Because as Jordan showed us, greatness isn't a destination. It's a decision, made over and over again. Thanks for watching, and if this video meant something to you, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and joining the conversation in the comments. Until next time, keep showing up and stay legendary.